Live from Virginia, this is Abayari speaking for the Los Angeles Press and International News Media. We are with Honorable International News Media and Los Angeles Press. Los Angeles Press Club. Los Angeles. And so we are here actually covering the event, the job fair for all the federal workers. May we have a statement from you? Directed to all the federal workers who have been laid off.
Sure. My name is Alfonso López. I'm the delegate from the 3rd House of Delegates District, which represents this area in the 8th Congressional District. I'm so very proud of what Congressman Beyer has done and his entire team to help all of these federal workers. And I'm so upset with what the Trump administration has done in terms of creating this chaos for federal workers who are, have done amazing work over the years and who are actually making money for the state, for the United States. If you're cutting $3.5 billion from the Park Service, but the Park Service makes $55 billion from the state, or IRS workers who actually bring money into the federal government, it makes no sense. The chaos, the cruelty, the policy decisions that are reversed the very next day, then put back in place the day later, it's going to tank our economy. It's going to be harmful for people who are trying to get basic goods and services, and it's also going to be harmful for people who are needing federal services like veterans benefits, like Medicare, Medicaid, farmers who need access to USDA grants. The chaos is cruel, it's unnecessary, and it's really not who we should be as Virginians or Americans.
Mr. Senator, we have received so many letters and calls from people, federal workers in the government who've been laid off and who have worked for decades. They don't really know what step to take. This is their first time experience. What is your advice? What do they do when they're laid off?
There are several resources available for folks in Northern Virginia where I live. But the impact is going to be great on the economy, not just in terms of the federal workers themselves, but frontline federal contracting services. We're talking about billions of dollars lost for those companies that do work for the federal government. And the unintended benefit, or the real harm is that it's going to be felt 4 months, 5 months, 6 months down the road, that the services that are being provided by these federal workers is going to harm people in rural areas, people in cities, people all across the United States who rely on these services and don't think, oh, it'll harm me. No, it actually is going to harm you.
Another frequently asked question is about a federal worker who has never affiliated himself or herself with any union. If they get laid off, do they file a lawsuit on their own?
I can't speak to some of the lawsuits that are happening right now. I do know, however, that it's been fascinating to see how many lawsuits have been filed from unions and from individuals and how effective they are going through the litigation process. Case in point is USAID and what happened recently, where in a 5-4 decision, all of the programs that the president decided he thought he could cut by executive order, which were actually passed in U.S. code as a part of laws passed by Congress, he wasn't allowed to do. And so, it's going to be interesting to see how this process plays out with litigation.
There's so many mixed messages. Who is actually leading the layoff? Now they say it's not Dodge, but it's actually dependent on those agency directors. What is the present director?
I think people are talking out of both sides of their mouth from the Trump administration. I think it is Doge that is leading a lot of this, but it's also cabinet officials who are political appointees who are doing what Doge is telling them to do.
Mr. Delegate, what will be the impact on the economy of Virginia and the entire United States?
There was a Council of Governments presentation a few weeks ago that said if you cut up to 75%, which is what had been said by a couple cabinet officials and folks in the past of federal employees, and you included some of the frontline workers, or frontline contractors, you're looking at a 9.6% unemployment rate just in the 8th Congressional District, which is the communities closest to Washington, D.C. in Virginia.
Finally, please give your statement to all the workers who are pinning their hopes on getting their jobs back.
You are appreciated. You are, your work is not forgotten. And please keep working. Please, understand that there are people fighting to make sure that this chaos goes away.
Thank you so very much.
Thank
This
you.
is live from Virginia. Abayari reporting for Public Affairs.